Good morning, welcome along to Dumfries High School for the semi-finals of the 2017 Challengers Curling Tour, Champions Curling Tour, sorry. Joining me this morning, David McMeekin. Morning, David.
Morning, David. So, David, hopefully we'll see two good semi-finals here. Into the third end now here in this, the feature game, which is Moat against Kraus.
A fairly cagey start so far, but plenty of stones in place, so hopefully, as you say, we'll get a reasonable game as the ends tick over.
We talked a wee bit about this Moat team, didn't we, on Friday night, David, but they just haven't had things all going their way this weekend, have they? They've had two losses in the way. In fact, I think one was to this Kraus team. Came out the group section, didn't they, as the best runner-up, and had a good convincing win last night in the quarter-final, so maybe they're getting a run together here near the tail end of the competition when it really matters.
Yeah, I can see there a couple of losses, as you say, through the competition. I think we called the first game that they were probably favourites for the competition, then they lost. Which is a standout memory from the weekend so far.
The commentator's curse.
That's the one.
I think the Kraus team took two scores of 3 off them, so there's not many teams out there that have got the ability to take 3 off this Moat team, so we should see a good close competition here this morning.
Yeah, exactly, and it's they're certainly looking to just play it safe at the moment, but as you say, I think we'll get a few as we go on. The other semi-final on sheet D is the Schinder Rink versus Hesse. A little Swiss clash there, I think.
Yeah, I think the Hesse have took a steal of 2 in the second end there, David, so they now lead 3-0.
Yeah, good Swiss representation in the semi-finals.
Yeah, that's right. There's 3 Swiss teams, was that be correct?
There is, yep.
Bruce Mout team defeated one of them. I think he put the Stally out from Switzerland last night.
We did, yes, in the game that was covered on the webcast last night. Apologies, we're probably not going to give you as an exciting a web coverage as last night was. But hopefully we'll manage to stay on air today. Got the graphics and everything back up and running today as well, so yeah, hopefully get a good game.
Yes, so the Mout rink steal on a single in the first end, David, then we had a blank, so here in the third end we've seen Mout throw up a centre guard. I think Kraus has obviously came round that, but he's dropped back tee, so Bruce Mout rink with Hammy McMillan leading has just drew round that into the white in the middle of the house there. It's a good setup here for the Mout team. Here we see Kraus trying to come in, just freeze right on top of that stone, give them some control back. We're brushing this, sorry, he's trying to chip it through the house, my apologies. But it's kind of caught in the middle of nowhere, he's pushed it back tee, but it's neither out the house and it's not frozen on, so it does give the Mout rink the chance to come back round in again in the corner there.
Quite a nice setup for the steal, isn't it? It's but it will be one of these that they're going to have to commit to early if they're going for it.
Yeah.
So these semi-finals getting underway 5 minutes sharp this morning. Everybody was here. No swing on that one.
No, that's how he chipped it, but it does still lie short, doesn't it, David? Here they're calling to come round again, so by doing this they're really committing to going after their 2 this end now, I feel, David.
Yeah, the blank's looking unlikely at this stage anyway.
Now at rink will not be too worried yet, they've still got that centre guard, so still plenty of time for them to get some stones in here.
Yeah, interestingly, they've called kind of top 8 with this one as well, so there'll certainly be room to come round it, but whether we'll see a attempt to bail out of the end. As you say, there's a centre guard and everything's back tee at the moment, so...
This looks high and heavy, David. The two things you probably don't want to be in curling.
Yeah, exactly. There's not much coming back from that one, is there?
And here we'll see how aggressive will the Mountering want to be. Yeah, they're calling the come rounds.
Yeah, I didn't think too long about that, did they? It's very much straight round, get one in there. Certainly getting swing on this one. It's good stone. The angles are nice for the jam as well. Interesting to see if this stone swings. At first impression, that's quite a lot of ice for a shot with weight.
That's right, there doesn't seem a lot of finish down there this morning, David, does there? We're showing them probably quarter of the stone, but like you said, they don't mind showing them that side of the stone because you could drive that back into the blue stone there. Leave them out at sitting 2 here if we don't get the curl.
Swooping to try and get the swing.
And that's not a great result there now, David, is it, for the Crowse rink? Yeah. If they can swing another one right round in where his brush indicated, that scoring area really has got closed down there.
Yeah, see, they're almost taking the same ice here for a draw.
Yeah, and a missed opportunity there just as that stone glides on there back tee, David.
A good chance to get on top tee there, wasn't it? And make life really difficult for the Crowse rink. But
yeah, put some pressure on there. It's still not easy for the Crowse to score their 2 here. They've just got to be careful with the stone positioning, haven't they?
Yeah, the scoring zone's pretty tight in this end. To be fair, the stone positioning looks like your average Waterbet League game. It's everything grouped together back tee.
I'm sure Bruce has got all these angles worked out this mount rink. Know the angles in curling as well as anyone in Scotland now, so
I would suspect so.
There might be a chance here for Grant to get some granite moving in his next shot here.
Because this is going to slide off the inside.
This does look heavy again. So the speedy ice just catching both teams out a wee bit here this morning, David.
Yeah, they did. I was in early this morning watching them prepare the ice, and it was nipped beforehand, but no practice for the teams. So just wonder if it has got a wee bit quicker as time's gone on. A lot of hits
but by the third end, you really expect your sweepers to have figured out what the speed is, and of course they can indicate to the players the hog to tee times, and so we'd like to see the weight control a wee bit better by now. But
I do wonder if it has changed slightly, just given every player seems to be struggling a wee touch, but another good chance for the Mount rink to get a red stone into that top 4.
Yeah, they've left a nice pocket there, haven't they? If you can ever freeze one in there, it's going to take a lot to shift it out. Oh, wait, he's caught in the guard here.
Well, that could make the end interesting.
Yeah, that's a bad mistake there. There's really a big target there to come in and freeze. You get nothing for the guard.
Yeah, a freeze on their own red or even the pocket wasn't even a disaster there.
Now the Kraus rink could just freeze one in here, David, but I think they're worried if they do that. They're really looking to score 2 this end, so he's talking about just moving the stones a wee bit off the tee, just to try and give themselves some more room to score their deuce. Oh well, now he's indicating he maybe could come round there. The problem with that is you do leave that pocket there for the Bruce Mowat to come in and freeze into.
I'm kind of with you. I think I'd be looking to move something about here, if nothing else, just to make an exit for some of these red stones.
Yeah.
Because I think at the moment there's maybe one goes, but the rest stay put.
Wee bit indecision here. They've looked at a lot of shots, so they've called the hack weight here. So, like you say, they're just looking to free some of the backing off the red stones. They're certainly getting curl here. Well, they do shift the red off the top of that blue, but I think obviously someone just touched one of the stones there, so just the skips of green where the stones were before they moved them. Yeah, not really the shot they called there, and yeah, I think if Bruce throws a bit of heat at that blue will depart out the side there. Do you think they can get the double, David?
I think they can. I just wonder if he's just going to try and land on the blue this time.
I think you could be right, yeah.
It's again a slightly more aggressive nature.
Yeah, just with these stones being back tee, just with the draws being heavy to start with, that gives this option, doesn't it, David?
Even just a kind of back 8 weight, just nudge the blue out the way and just flop across into that nest, makes it. And then they know if the Kraus rink draw one in there, they just follow that down, sit on top, and hey presto, force the one.
Yep.
Maybe a little bit more weight actually coming out the hack, just looking out the window here.
He's over curling as well a wee bit, David, isn't he? Probably does lie shot there.
You just have to be a wee bit careful with this shot. Certainly they want to make sure they're lying shot after the stone's played. Otherwise it could be quite difficult to actually score a one here.
Yeah, that's right, David. You don't want to give up a second steal, do you? You really want to score your 2, but worst case scenario, take your 1, get out the end. I think they're looking to just try and pick the red off the top of that blue, David. They'll well sit one blue at the back if they do that, but he's taking a bit of ice here. Maybe just going at a canny weight just to try and hold the shooter and lie to.
Yeah, it's almost the same shot as Bruce has just tried to play, isn't it? Same weight. It's really tight to get the red out of there and hold the shooter, I would have thought, though.
I think that's what he's looking to do, but like you say, there's not a lot of room. Not a big gap between them two stones.
Over swinging as well.
Yeah, it has. It's not really a good result, is it, for the Kraus rink? That it's definitely Bruce Mouat sitting 1, if not 2, in there.
Yeah, difficult to tell from this angle. I think it is just 1, but 1's enough for them, I suppose.
Yeah, so now it depends how aggressive you want to be here, David. You can fling the guard really and go for the steal, or you can come in and freeze one in, and then you're really definitely forcing it. Just depends whether you want to risk it and go for the steal here. It looks like they're playing the guard.
Yeah, guard was my first thought. I suppose being 1 up, Kraus has had the hammer every end, and yeah, I think coming out of 3 ends without having the hammer 2-0 up is probably a pretty good result for the Mouat rink. Supposed to be really aggressive. You could corner freeze that top blue in the forefoot and probably lie shot, just a slight overlap.
Yeah, if you ever got that wrong or bounced off, David, so you leave him a double for 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Got to play the percentage shot sometimes. So it's on its way. We'll find out. Surely needs to plug that hole, doesn't he, David? Probably just off centre.
Yeah, it's not hard to guard the blue and the red here. Played it well, though.
There's still room to draw in there, though, so they should hopefully be able to draw their 1. Maybe they think it's too tight.
That's a call. I don't know if you saw what they've just called there. Coming off the red on the edge of the 12 foot and trying to get back up the hill.
Yeah, Dave, you ever seen that shot of Hammy McMillan played against Vic Peters? That's a similar looking shot to that. It's a big shot. I'd like to see them play it, but I think senses took over here and they're going to come through the port. Not good for the spectators. So
I like their optimism, but
still looking at the angles, David. If they come through this hole with a lot of heat, they're thinking they can maybe bounce the shooter back up to nudge that red out of shot position and maybe still lie there too. Is the shot there?
It's just about there, isn't it? Yeah, it's not far away.
Have to hit the one on the left first, bounce off the one in the middle and back up the hill, and then nudge that red out. It's a pretty safe shot, really. You're guaranteed your 1 really by doing this.
Yeah, as you say, it's as long as you get through the port.
Yeah.
Looks a fairly tight port from here. But yeah, as you say, if you get through that port, then I think it's worth a go anyway. There's not a great deal else on. There is the draw, but I think to get through that port with the draw weight, you
need a bit. Yeah, I think at draw weight you're over curling almost, aren't you?
Exactly.
Once you're through the port. So here we go. We've decided on the shot, and I think that's the shot they're playing. So is it there for his two? We'll find out in a minute. It's on its way anyway. It's certainly coming down with a bit of heat, and he's through the port. Look at that! There, what a shot! And there you go. Back up the hill, nudge the red out, and 2 to the Crouch rink.
What a shot that is. Well thought out.
Yeah, and that'll be a good confidence lifter to that team, David, won't it? You know.
Yeah, they could have been 2-0 down and they're 2-1 up now, so quite a turnaround. As if you're playing against that, you feel a little bit aggrieved. You've played a reasonably good end and somehow managed to concede the 2. I think the trick now is to back that kind of shot up, isn't it? So this end becomes quite important to the Crouch rink to force the one or even steal something here, and all of a sudden they're in control of the game.
Yeah, I mean the Mount rink did leave that shot for them, didn't they? They obviously didn't see it. They could have chose with their last stone to freeze another one right down in the pocket, and then it would have been an easy score of 1 for Kraus, but it would have been harder for them probably to manufacture 2 out of it. But there you go. So that's 2-1 now. Mount back with Mount with hammer for the first time. So how aggressive will they want to be here?
Certainly think we'll see 1 corner guard anyway.
Yeah, so Kraus rink called top 4, and then like you say, fully expect Mount rink to put up a corner guard. Certainly now, because this stone's back tee, isn't it?
It is. Just still struggling with the weight a little bit.
Yeah, so he's indicated the corner guard to get thrown up, David. These are tactics that you don't really see much at club level, do you? Maybe if there's some club curlers out there listening, you could explain the whole corner guard tactic. Why go for this, David, not chase after the one in the house?
Yeah, the theory is you've got last stone, you want to keep the centre of the house open, so you put up a corner guard. You can try and get a stone in behind that while still leaving at least the 4 foot, if not half of the 8 foot, open for your last stone draw, and try and force a 2 that way. It's always corner guards underused in most forms of curling Monday to Friday, I would say.
You're definitely right. But like you say, that's the theory, isn't it? So just watch that guard later on if they'll be able to get something round it and try and manufacture a 2 by using it.
Essentially the team's working to two game plans for these first 2 stones, and almost irrelevant of what the opposition do, they're going to play them 2 stones. Slight mistake there gives the Mount rink a chance to hit and potentially roll in behind the corner guard.
Yeah, so we're seeing them here going to try and use that corner guard almost straight away. Some teams would have thrown a second corner up, but he's deciding it's time to move that one off the top and just try and flop in behind the corner.
I think the fact he can flop in and still stay pretty much top 12 probably swings that. It'll be nice and high, you can get another one round it.
It's got a bit of curling to do, David.
It's got to hit something first.
Well, just gets an edge of the back blue, but it's not enough. Now do we see Kraus take the corner guard off, or is he going to be aggressive? Yeah, he's going out to the corner guard. I think he's just going to peel that guard. He doesn't want to give the Mount team anything to work with here, David, does he?
No, and that's having played that shot in the last end to get the lead, I think that's a fairly sensible choice. It's so easy just to lose a 2 straight back. So
yeah, that's right. Some teams might have flung another one in the house here, David, but the ability this team have got, Bobby Lammy and Grant Hardy are both big hitters, so they'd be well capable of moving 2 or 3 stones out the house. So just get rid of the guard and give them a hand to play with. It's not very good for the spectators, right enough.
No, it's not, is it? It's not great for the commentators either, to be fair.
Yeah, so we'll probably see that corner replaced and then taken off for a couple of stones before we see a play in the house or something. With the Mountrank just replacing that corner guard, and they're hoping for a wee error by the Christ team. By an error, probably mean just a nose hit instead of a half stone just to leave a guard. Not much chance of a stone getting missed altogether at this stage of the competition.
No, you certainly can't define the tactics by hoping the opposition miss at this stage. And just as you called, corner guard goes on, corner guard comes off again. Slightly trickier angles, has to make sure they're on the inside just now, make sure there's no jam. There's a mistake.
Yeah, so that's what they're looking for, a nose hit, and they've got it. So now that gives, even though it's the Kraus stone, it still acts as a guard, doesn't it, David? So they can come round that. They're choosing just a straight draw instead of playing the hit and roll off that top blue. It's probably the easier shot.
It's always a different stage of the end, but I suppose there's always that part of me that thinks, well, we chose to play the hit and roll last time, why not this time?
Yeah. Could have readjusted the ice, couldn't they, and played the same shot again, but if they can get one in here, it's going to be hard for the Kraus Rink to remove it.
Yeah, they'll probably still, if they get in behind the corner guard, they probably still go for the corner guard as well.
Yeah.
They have just gone for the draw, as you say. But
well, catches the guard there and leave the centre guard, and the two guards are staggered now. Yeah, so David, if the Kraus Rink comes round here, it's putting the pressure on Bruce Mountrank here a bit, isn't it?
yeah, it's not a good shot, is it? Not erring on the best side there. Again, just struggling for weight, really, that shot, I would say.
Yeah. We've seen them struggle to get curl last time down this way, so.
Yeah, again, looks quite a lot of ice, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, sweepers are brushing this one hard. I think they must be on the guard. Looking by the reactions we're getting. It's just short of weight, I think, David.
There must be an uphill and a downhill slope on this ice. Just nobody really got the weight yet.
We've got a bit of a mess out front there, David, so going from a fairly simple end, that one miss, well, there's two misses in a row there, and all of a sudden we've got a bit of a guddle going on here again.
Yeah, as we said, it was just that nose on the corner guard that set this all off, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then the missed draw there as well.
Yeah.
Bobby Lammy didn't help. So.
Yep, we're not doing stats, but the percentages I don't think we'll be looking too staggering for this end.
So looking down at the other semi-final here, David, and see the Hesrink have forced their opposition to the single. So that game's 3-1. The Hesrink, of course, defeating the locals, skipped by Fraser Hare last night in an extra end, was it? Yeah,
an extra end, and Fraser pretty unlucky got a pick up with his last draw as well.
Right. Extra, or maybe it was the 8th end, I can't remember, but there were appeals with Hammer.
I think it was an extra. I think it was an extra.
Yeah, like you say, his last draw, he had to draw to the forefoot and it picked up. It's always a disappointing way to lose a game, isn't it, David?
Yeah, it's not good. Not good at all. It was a tough draw he had, though. It was a tough draw to bite the edge of the button, but certainly possible.
I wouldn't like to have been Craig Waddell's brush after that stone picked up anyway.
No, definitely not brush or the hack that the stone was launched at either. Scott Hamilton came off blaming the ISA here, so they were obviously missing their star players though for that game, were they?
That's right, yeah.
And if that's shot, and it is, I think we'll see the guards disappearing. Yep.
Yeah, that's a good draw in there, isn't it, David? Well, the guards are staggered, David, so the best here you can do is clear the top two, really. And then we'll probably just see one of them replaced by the Crouch Rink.
Yeah, and if I've kept pace with the stones played here, I think this is Grant Hardy's second stone. Played it well.
I think you're right, David.
And it's going to take at least one of Bruce's stones to clear the front.
Yeah, so the first skip stones here from Krause. Just wants to put that guard back on, don't they? Yeah, just where his brush is. Just leave a small stagger on them. With as much separation as possible, really.
It's where it's tempted to draw around and freeze onto the shot stone as well, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, but again, if you don't get dead buried, you do leave them a double.
Yeah, exactly. I think the guard, relatively long guard, might be an option. So, because I think Bruce will hit the guard.
Yeah, that's the key, isn't it? As much separation as possible. With the hitting ability Bruce has got, you really need to make that the double peel as difficult as possible.
And line-wise, probably leave it as high as possible as well.
I would say you want it just to the right-hand side of the guard that's already there, just in case they were tempted to come round at hack weight if your guard's too long and try and nudge that blue off the middle there. So you want to try and cover that shot as well.
Their only concern will be that red that's locked onto the back blue, but they'll be fairly confident of keeping that out of play. Looks a fairly nice line. Maybe a touch over swinging for the length though. Yeah, it's just overswung, hasn't it?
It has. So they're dead in line. So will they be tempted to come after the one in the house? I kind of feel they have to when they've got the chance to. Yeah, so there we see it. If you can come down at hack weight, move that one off, and they'll sit the two in the house.
Again, it'll be interesting to see what weight they play. That sweeper's straight on it by the sounds of it.
Yeah, they're sweeping it hard for line. Can they hold it? He's by the top guard, but I think he's going to catch the second one here. Oh, and that's a big mistake again, isn't it? Yeah, and the shooter just rolls out as well. So
no, I think they've called the guard. I'd be tempted to get right down on top of that blue this time. I think there's enough room to freeze the inside of the blue. And the only reason I say that is I think there is a swing left to right as we look at it, to come down through the port on the left hand side and just chip it to the 8 foot and lie to.
Well, that would be tough, David, but it might be there. It's tough to get it enough to get it over the top of that red, but like you say, they're leaving that shot, they feel they're leaving that side open. Again, the danger of coming in is if you don't get the angles just perfect, you do leave a double.
Maybe a wee bit more margin for error this time, just by the nature of the distance though. So you can afford to be top 12, top 8.
Yeah, that's right. As long as you don't come too deep, so that if you're leaving a double, Bruce's shooter will not be out counted by that blue on the side there, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
I think I know what I mean. Well, this looks quite deep, is it?
It's
pulling up now.
Yeah,
so
it's not too bad. It looked high for a minute or two, but just wonder if there is a wee hack weight shot round the left-hand side here.
Well, they're looking at it, so we're going to find out, I think.
I'm not seeing much else, to be fair.
What do you think, the blue-red combination on the corners? Do you think they're lined up for anything, David?
Yeah, possibly, yeah, possibly.
Well, looked at that. It's quite an ambitious shot, but it's one I'm sure they could pull off. Problem with that, the angles are you're just driving the blue out and the red at the back, really, aren't you?
Yeah, I think so.
So I think they still think there's room on the intern, David, is that? Or they're looking at the double now?
Yeah, I think they're looking at the double with the blue that's just been played. But
yeah, that just leaves you your single at the back, doesn't it? So
yeah,
you never like running an opposition stone in, do you, David? It's better when it's one of your own, but they're really short of options here.
Yeah, if they're ever high on that outside blue, there's a chance of spilling the red out as well. So these boys are a bit more confident in their shot playing ability than I am, right enough.
Yeah, and there's no time clocks here, so certainly taking their time over this shot choice, but it's a crucial point of the game, really. They want to. There's no obvious shot, so what shot have they called here, David?
I think it's the double, unless they think there's a gap. It doesn't look like there's a gap there.
They looked at both. It certainly doesn't on our screens, but they did at one time look at that gap if they could just come through on the intern at hack weight, but geez, that's not a big port, David, is it?
The opposition don't look convinced there's a gap there anyway.
No, I think they're quite happy to see them chasing this.
I would say so. Yeah, and if this blue comes over the top of the blue in the forefoot, if they are going for the double, then it could go across the face of that, and you could end up spilling the red at the back as well. But I assume this is a down weight shot.
So it's on its way, so we've had a lot of discussion over this shot. They're sweeping it, they're going for the port at hack weight.
Must be close, there's kind of yes, no.
Just catches that top one. Yeah, it was a tough shot, David, but obviously felt the shot was there, so who are we to argue?
No, they can see the straight line down there, so at the halfway point, Kraus are leading 3-1. And Mount really needing a 2.
Yeah, that's right. Kraus has carried that momentum from the defeat he had over them in the round robin stages to this part of the competition, David. So they're going to be pleased with their performance, aren't they, at the halfway mark?
I would say so, and they haven't scored their 3 yet, so, as we kind of promised that they
would.
Still
to come, so could be in for an interesting second half of the game here.
The other semi-final still 3-1 on the official scoring. I don't know if there's any other score updates from that game.
No, they have concluded their 4th end, David, but they've yet to update the scoreboard, so I'm afraid I can't bring you any more updates.
See these curlers that don't bother putting a score up.
Yep, it's the second's job, I think, is it? So to be having words with them afterwards.
So if you're the Kraus rank here in the house again, I think is going to be the...
Yeah, definitely. You've got your lead now, haven't you? So you're not going to get too complicated here. Fling them up in the house and make the Bruce Mount do the chasing, don't you?
Perfect stone. Maybe just... Yeah, it's pretty good. It's just drifted a wee touch.
If you want to be critical, it's maybe 6 inches too far, but I'm normally pretty happy if I can get it that close.
Yeah, that'll do fine.
So yeah, corner guard indicated here again. See if they can make the tactic work for them this end.
I see the score updated there, 5-1 to Hess.
Oh yeah, and that looks like it's going to be one-way traffic now, doesn't it? It's hard to come back from that score line.
So I'd have to say at the moment it would look like a Crouse-Hess final, but a long way to go yet.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't go right and Bruce him out in his rink off yet, David. They're well capable of getting back in this game now. They just need to get their two here and then force, get their two, and then they're really in control again. So there's plenty of time yet.
That's where these boys are good, isn't it? Just not panicking, playing the game.
Yeah, exactly. You can get too worried and start going too aggressive, but there's no need to do that just quite yet.
I suppose the telltale here will be whether he puts a second corner guard on. But given he's only 2 down, I don't suspect he will.
Well, I tend to think they might, so we'll find out in a minute, David, who's right. They'll have to chase their 2 this time, so... Yep, but you're right, David, they go for the same again, just a wee flop in behind the corner. So you don't always need to push this top blow out, really, do you, David? Even if it's hanging on the back, it can come in useful to you later on in the end. You don't have to get too carried away trying to put the opposition stones out just yet.
I think
you can push it back tee and get behind the guards, more crucial than getting rid of the blue. Yeah,
shooters are crucial stone here, isn't it? Even if you leave the blue top tee, it's a potential hit and roll later on. Or
yeah, stones at the back of the tee can sometimes be useful to you, even if they're the opposition stones.
It's a great shot.
Yeah, there you go. That's perfect. That's just what they wanted. Leave the blue in the house, but they're not worried about that, like we said, and there is an angle in them blues for a double later on if it comes to that as well. So. Yeah,
it's slightly awkward now to get rid of the corner guard. You could end up leaving a corner guard on the other side with your shooter, or...
Yeah, and you've got to watch the jam, haven't you? If you take it the other way, you don't want to be running this in the house and jamming it on the blue. Now we've seen the second make a mistake the last end, didn't we, when we nosed the corner, so let's see if we can do it cleanly this time.
Yeah, gave him the big build up for a miss there, and played it perfectly.
Yeah,
so now we will just see the corner guards being replaced.
That's right. You see, maybe some people will be wondering why you wouldn't make a play on the stones in the house, David, but you really have to just have patience, don't you? Bide your time, put some corners, guard your own for a while before you make a play in the house.
Yeah, you've probably got 3, maybe even 4 shots where you'd be quite happy just to play the corner and
that's right,
and see it disappear.
You want to run some stones down, don't you? If you come in the house too early, it just gives the opposition more chances at the double on your 2 stones. So.
And the blues that are in the house are sitting quite nice for a double themselves, so there's no panic about them 2 blues. So. It's a good corner guard again, good replacement.
Yeah, so you see the Crouse rink, they're not even trying to double on the reds here, are they? They're just wanting the single peel off the top one. The danger is if you try to run back and get the one in the house, you're slightly off, then you do leave a guard, so they're just keeping it clean, going for the single peel on the top one. Executed well.
And repeat. I think this scenario is exactly what a 5 rock 3 guard zone is designed to avoid, isn't it?
Yeah, and maybe see some more aggressive curling as a result of that next year, David.
I think we need time clocks though before that guard zone rule comes in. We could be here for hours.
Generally haven't been too bad this weekend though, David, have we? Most teams have got on quickly, yeah, and all the games have ran on time. Competitions ran smoothly.
Yeah, I think it's starting on the Thursday night just allows a little bit more time between the sessions, and certainly last year's competition was men's and women's, and I think we had half an hour, 40 minutes between sessions.
Yeah.
And it was fairly constant, so an hour and 15 between sessions is fairly relaxed this year.
Yeah, that's right. It gives room if there's any slight overruns in games, and it gives the people time to prepare the ice. And so, no, it's certainly run very well. I was playing one day, I was playing on Friday as a substitute, and all seemed to be run very smoothly.
And we're trying to build this event for next year. So, if anybody is interested in playing, look up Dumfries Curling on social media or register on the World Curling Tour site. It'd be great to see you in Dumfries. in particular looking for North American teams, I have to admit. So that's the challenge for next year.
And even for Scottish teams, David, it's a good chance to come along and play these teams, isn't it? There's not many competitions in this country now that Bruce Mowat and the likes, Tom Brewster, that really play, so it's a good chance here, an open competition, to come along and put your skills against them. And well, they're very beatable, as we've seen this weekend. Tom Brewster exiting after the round robin stages, didn't we?
Yeah, and we called it, I think, we didn't call him going out, but we called him as sort of second favourite, I think.
Yep.
And Cameron Bryce's team were the other one that were favoured to do fairly well.
Yep, that's right, and they've dropped out at the group stages as well, so that's really two big shocks. But for me, the quality of the Swiss teams have really surprised me, but probably just the fact I don't know much about the Swiss teams, but obviously they've got the capabilities and they've played excellent this weekend.
Yeah, they have. We must produce similar ice, but no, they've been very good, and hopefully welcome them back next year to either to have another go at it or defend their title, whichever way this goes.
Yeah, definitely. I played against the Style Rink, who unfortunately had a player take ill, so there's only 3 of them playing, and I think they only missed 1 shot the whole game. They really played outstanding.
So 18 teams we've had this year, and I think the first target next year is to get to 24. And if we can get more than that, then great. But it's not a bad shot to clear up the end.
Yeah, there's a great shot. So back in the feature game, we've been getting kind of distracted, but Bruce called the freeze onto that outside blue, and they just came up a little bit short and left the double in the blues, and a double on his own reds, and the Christchurch have just took that opportunity and made that double. So that's really looks like a good scoring chance there for Bruce Mowat to get his 2, and now it looks like a hard slog to get your 2 here. But like you said, you can use some of these stones that are lying about, just try and get something in there that's hard to remove.
Yeah, it's interesting this one, because this is decision time whether to try and bail out this end or
right.
Keep going for the 2.
You could freeze one on the corner of that one on the left again, David, the top, couldn't you, and try and make the angle so that if they tried to take it out, it was bounce on the centre. But Bruce has obviously decided that he'll get easier chances in the game for a 2, so they're almost going for a bailout, like you say here, David. Having said that, the one coming down,
it's not appearing in shot very quickly.
I think we're going for a corner freeze here, so my apologies, they're still chasing their 2. Commentators here should probably pay a bit more attention to what's going on. So they're trying to freeze that top one, and they're coming through and freezing the back one, so it's not what they called, but it's not a bad result for them.
They did speak about the back one, I think, to be fair, as a plan B.
Right, yeah.
And if it swung, they could get the outside one.
Yeah, it's important to really decide where your miss is going to be if you're not going to make the shot. You've always got a plan B, so the miss there was to be tight, or not tight I'm saying, but just not get the curl. So they've ended up with a freeze there at the back, so really the Christchurch have to deal with that one. You can't go afford to leaving the opposition stones about, can you, David?
3-1 up, there's no point taking the risk, is there? Again, the temptation would be to try and set up the steal. That lead stone's still there. But 3-1 up, you just don't need to take the risk, and I suspect they'll play their own blue back onto this. Yep.
See, again, it just comes to the standard of curling you get at this level. Again, club curlers watching might be thinking they should guard their own in the house, but it's just so dangerous doing that, David. If you don't make the guard perfect, you're in trouble. Even if you do make it perfect, there would be a double on the blues, and before you know it, you're sitting 2 against.
You're sitting 2 against, one of which is behind the guard, and you're doing well just to keep it to 2.
Yeah.
So there's just no point taking the risk on this one.
Yeah, so like you say, they're looking to run their own one back just because they can only see half of that red, and the side they can see jams it on the blue. So if they can just get their own shot high here on the red, we should see the red depart. Probably won't stick the shooter here, David.
Unless they hit nose, just to take both of the back ones out, but then the angle for the double's even nicer. So
there's options here as well, David, so let's see what happens. Yeah, shooter goes, blue stone goes, but
that's not bad. There's not an easy double now.
You're right, there's not. Yeah, just indicating the hit and roll in front of the blue. I think that's easier than the double, David, like you say.
What about freezing the centre blue?
Well, you could, David, but
it's so tough to get it frozen, and the way these guys play.
There's a lot of action in the stones here at Dumfries as well, isn't there? If you don't get the freeze perfect, it's pretty hard. I think you play the hit and roll here, David, and all you're really hoping by playing that shot is that the opposition then hit and roll themselves and then you can blank the end really. I think you're looking to get out this end with a blank now, David. The chance to two's gone. Do you want to try and get the roll, make it as difficult as possible for the red to get removed?
Sweeper's on it already. No panic about it, no. They're close to the roll.
Yes, he got a wee bit of roll. He'd have preferred a wee bit more, David, so it's just really a nose hit there.
Yeah, nose, as you say, a nose hit for the Kraus team here. I'll certainly give Bruce Mount a decision to make, whether he goes for a double to blank the end or just take his one. I don't think the Kraus rink will be too worried either way. Just as long as this red stone goes, they'll be fairly happy.
I think it's a brave man that takes on the double for the blank. We'll see what the angles are like after this shot. You can't be going 4-1 down. No. Not in an 8-end game anyway. Anyway, first things first, they've got to get rid of this, David. I fancy them to make it, but they really need to stick the shooter as well, don't they?
Yeah, they need to hang about just to keep the pressure on.
They've got that back one to deal with. They can't over-curl. They've just played a nice weight, so the sweepers have got some control over it, and they're brushing it now, but nah, he's good. He's right on the nose, isn't he?
I think that's going to make the mind up.
Yeah, that's took your double off. Well, it's there, but it's tough, so Grant's having a look at it.
He's looked at it and then decided against it.
Yeah, so just a hit in the nose, and that's the Bruce Mount's rink forced to take their single. So
as you say, a bit of a must-make shot this as well. On the nose, never in doubt. So 3-2 after 5. I suspect we'll see a completely different end this time. And I certainly don't think the Kraus rink will be throwing up corner guards, but you never know. 3-2 up, to be fair, in the 6th end. Maybe it's not a terrible time to go and push for the 2.
Yeah, so Bruce Mount will be looking for this lead stone of Hammy McMillan's to be short of the house, won't he, David? He needs to make use of that free guard zone.
Yeah, if it comes into the house at all, we're just going to see the end hit away.
So we have it. He's looking for it. A long guard here, just over the hog line, then that gives him room to come round with his second and leave as much separation as possible. Well,
it's got to be over though.
He's not over. Well, that's a big mistake there. Well, don't expect that from Hammy McMillan. He's a very experienced lead, isn't he, David? He's got a Scottish Championship under his belt in that position.
I'm not sure. Difficult to see here, but I don't think the sweepers didn't seem too worried about that for a while. So.
We're just trying to get too cute with the hog line, weren't they, David? Just trying to leave that separation, but that's what you can't afford to be doing. So here we go, Kraus calling his stone in the house. Again, he wants it away from that 4 foot. He's calling the edge of the house. The last thing he wants is a whole pile of stones around the 4 foot. So if he can put it in the 12 foot here on the side of the house, he's really happy. He's got a bit of running as well here.
Definitely wants front tee though.
No, he's fine. He's good. So here we go. Let's see if we can get it over this time. Calling it long again, David. Any reason for that? And why would you not want that guard tighter to the house?
I suppose, as you said the last time, just to try and get another one round it. Having missed the first one though, I'm a wee bit surprised they didn't call it a little bit tighter than that.
Makes the tick shot a wee bit harder maybe if it's as long, in case they were worried the Kraus rink would play the tick shot, but I thought I might have seen that one kind of halfway up. There's a lot of current on this ice here at Dumfries, so a guard of that length is really not much good. But like you say, you can come round it, make 2 guards and then you're fine.
I would have thought about the closest to the mixed doubles spots. I would have thought the three lines you see on the centre line, the closest one, somewhere about there would have been ideal. But these boys will know better than we do.
Yep. Be a reason.
I did wonder with Kraus's first one whether they were going to call the bluff and actually stick it on the 4 foot.
Yeah.
I think that's their only danger now, is that there's plenty to hit and roll off of.
So here we see a centre guard called, so you want in behind that guard that you've already played. Just up tight to the house really. Yeah, Bruce just indicating with his brush where he wants this one.
Pretty good there, but I think they would have liked it a little touch closer.
Yeah, and they're just showing them half, so the Kraus rink have decided to go after that one that they can see.
Again, they've got no need to get too fancy here, do they? Taking one guard off is good enough at the moment.
Yeah, and like we said, that first guard is quite long and it's just off centre, so it's not really posing them any problems right now. They're not overly worried about that. If you're buried in behind that guard, you can easily get to the shot. There's some good prize money on offer this weekend as well, isn't there, David?
Yeah, it is. I'd have to double check exactly what the prize pot is, but
oh, sorry, could have seen 7,500 mentioned.
Yeah, I think that sounds about right. No,
I don't know what the split is, but
yeah.
Sorry.
No, I think it's we'll find that out for the final. But no, it's pretty reasonable, and yeah, it seems to be the way to attract people to the competitions now. To be fair, it's good prize money, and
it is expensive for teams to travel, isn't it? You need to put a hotel up for 3 nights, so this sport's not for nothing.
No, and I think it was interesting speaking to some of the Swiss guys on Friday, and they were saying they like playing this competition just purely because they don't get entries to some of the next level up.
Yeah.
So just shows the appetite's there.
Yeah, and I think also Graham Sloan and volunteers like yourself here are also very good to travelling teams, aren't they? They can arrange for travel connections, pick you up from airports, and just try and make the whole thing as easy as possible for teams wanting to come.
Yeah, exactly. And we're certainly for next year's event, we're looking at kind of an all-inclusive basis. So food, hotel, travel, and almost make a menu of what level do you want. And again, it's just exactly as you say, just to try and make it as easy as we possibly can for teams to get here.
Yeah, all they have to worry about is playing when they get here. So.
Yeah, exactly. No matter how organised it is, though, there always seems to be quite a lot running about on the Saturday/Sunday trying to get people trains and taxis, and there's always at least one team that books a flight before the competition's finished and then seems surprised when they get through. It's also one of the reasons we have the quarterfinals on the Saturday night as well.
Yeah, just let teams get finished up earlier on Sunday, David, isn't it? Because people will get back to their work tomorrow morning, so there's less disruption as possible.
Yeah, I mean, just the vast majority of competitors here are amateur, essentially. So
there we've seen Bruce Mount come round that guard, but he's came quite deep. I don't think that was deliberate. He's back in the house there. He's lying in second shot position. Kraus could have chased that if he wanted, but he's decided to get the guard off.
Yeah, I suspect he's lying 2 blues at the moment. He did have a wee look. Yeah, I think confirmation 1 and 2.
Is that okay for a double here though, David, don't they? I fancy them to make this.
Yeah, again, the shooter almost more important, isn't it? Just shooter's got to lie about with this one.
Yeah.
I wonder actually hitting the outside one, and they obviously can't see enough of the inside just to get a wee roll in behind the blue. We'll have one eye on a bailout of this end as well. I don't want to give away an easy 2 at some point.
Yeah, but if Grant makes this double here, David, they're still sitting okay. Okay, my apologies, I've taken my eye slightly off the ball there. Of course, Christ haven't hammered this end, so Grant really needs to make this double, doesn't he, to stop them getting 2.
We better get down there and tell him it's a crucial shot now.
He's going for the hit and roll off the back one, like you suggested, David.
I just thought that it might make the Christ rink have a wee go at his own blue anyway.
He's not getting the curl again.
Certainly doesn't want to roll out.
I've seen that again.
You see a hit and stick on the back one now, I suspect.
Don't have to if they're line shot, but yeah, that's what they decide to do.
They could freeze it.
They could freeze it. Another shot would be to draw the 8 foot on the left hand side and leave as much separation. Would still leave a double, so. Nah, he's decided on the simple shot. Nose hit.
There is an element of just keep it simple, isn't there?
Yeah.
On this all the way.
They're working it hard. He's played down weight a bit. He had took a bit of ice, but he's curling now. He's getting the stone, but is the shooter sticking?
Just, I think.
Well, he's got away with that one, David.
It's actually finished really nicely as well now, just with that wee roll.
That's really perfect.
He certainly didn't place the roll to there.
I did think about the draw behind. That would be a very aggressive call. So they've decided just to hit this top one and flop across.
Yeah, aggressive call to the point of game over if they miss it.
Yeah, I think that's a call for the last end, isn't it? If you're 1 down. Only 6th end, still 2 ends to go, so no need to panic yet. Need to making these shots though.
Yeah, they're just not clicking so far, are they? Struggled for the weight pretty much all the way through this game so far.
Well, I'll tell you what, you nearly got the skinny double there. That wasn't what they were going for, I don't think, but nearly got it. But the shooter rolls out, so it's not ideal because it gives the Christ Rink the chance to get as much separation as possible between these two stones.
The blue only just exited the house as well. That's the other. Just about caught enough of it to push it out sideways. If that had taken a wee bit of a roll back in, they were in all kinds of trouble. Just a draw to the top 12 here, maybe even top 8, but doing it in a way that any kind of angle for a double also leaves a jam on the blue on the outside. So I suspect they'll go kind of top 8, middle of the 8 foot line.
Yeah, so the Olympic rink, Kyle Smith's playing in Japan this weekend, aren't they, David? Or this week, sorry. So I think they're in the final now of that competition. Doing well across there. Yeah, they're really starting to get results when it really matters now, getting near the Olympics now. That was obviously a great result for them, getting silver. So
it's just all about peaking at the right time, isn't it? That's the...
Yeah, that's right. No. Unlucky to get defeated by Eden in the final of the Europeans. So.
Yeah, good experience for them as well, though. It's, I think there was a lot made of maybe Kyle's last stone and the end result, but he was under all kinds of pressure at that point.
Yeah, that's right.
I think you don't want to be too defeatist, but I think he would take the same again at the Olympics, getting beat in the final pretty much now.
Well, I don't know, David. They will always be going there to win it.
True.
A lot of talk over Eden's knee now as well, and the injury to that, so let's see if he can hold together. So it's an intense schedule, isn't it, for the Olympics? So that'll be something to keep an eye on during the week as well.
It is. It's fully more intense than a Worlds, isn't it? It's quite constant.
Plenty of depth in his rank though, so I'm sure Oscar Ericsson will stand up and skip it if he's having any problems.
Yeah, he's not a bad player himself, is he? Well, this is high of line. That's not swinging at all.
So we've not been paying attention to the feature game. They called the come round there.
They called the come round and it's high. It's heavy.
And it leaves a draw for 3, I'm afraid. Does it? They're looking.
I would say it's a draw for a 3.
Yeah, and there you see it. It indicates the Blues' second shot. That's a bad miss. What do you think of that call, David? It was quite aggressive, wasn't it, going round it? But I obviously thought it was time to be that aggressive.
Yeah, very aggressive going round it.
There was room to get in behind it, but you were always leaving a run for 3, even if you made the draw.
Yeah, I think that's probably the surprising thing, that the hitting ability of these teams is. It was always going to be a bit of a problem there, I think. So.
Yeah, so we promised it before the game. So here you see we've got a draw for 3.
Called it. I don't think we'll see any handshakes or anything like that, but very, very difficult to come back now. Can he afford to hit full face on this blue?
Yeah, I think he's just sliding off it, isn't he?
Anyway.
So.
Yep.
So there, we've seen a small mistake at the start of the end by Hammy when he wasn't quite over the hog line, but just really came out of nowhere, that 3 still, didn't it? A couple of slack shots through the end, and that's all it takes, and you've lost a big end.
Yep.
Seen Grant hit and roll out with his as well, so
yeah, that's going to be tough to come back from now.
Yeah, certainly need multiple scores this end anyway.
I assume the other semi-final isn't still on the 5th end?
No, I'm just looking down here now, so in the 5th end the Schneider actually got their 2 back, so that's 5-3, so that's not done and dusted yet, that semi-final either. Schneider rink are sitting well in the 6th end. They've got one in the 4-foot, and they've just guarded it now, so it's played it perfectly, so that plenty to play for there.
We'll just take a glance across on there.
There you see it.
Well, we might just stay with this if they're looking at the corner raises.
Well, we're on skipped stones, in fact, David, so this is the last stone to come here. This is Hess's last stone and last stone at the end. Is there enough room to come round that guard and tap it back, David?
I think their vice skip's keen on the...
Well, the angles do
the
look
blues.
pretty favourable, don't they?
They look quite nice from here.
Just need to get that top one slightly high, and you can run that back in and you can score 2, in fact, with that shot. From the team discussion here again about it.
So it's actually 5-3 this game. Just put a 2 in there for them.
So there's the feature game in the top hand corner. So you can see the Schneider rink called top 4 with the first shot, but it just came in the top of the house. So it's not a bad shot, but it's not where he would have really wanted it. And there's a corner guard there being thrown up by Hammy McMillan. Well, David, I think they've decided on this shot in the corner guards here to try and run them in.
Crowd pleasing shot. I'm a little bit surprised they haven't gone to hack weight. That seems the more... this just isn't the swing there.
Well, it does look a bit of separation between them stones, David, doesn't it? Certainly from what I've played on the ice on Friday, I thought that shot would be there, but it's maybe not there for 2, whereas this one they can get 2 out of.
Yeah, being 5-3 up as well, taking a 1 or losing a 1 isn't the end of the world either, so worth a go to kill the game.
Exactly. Yeah, he wants to make this shot, David, but if he doesn't, it's not a disaster. You're 1 up with Hammer with 2 ends to go, so it's still not a bad position to be in. Probably if you're sitting 2 or 3 against, you maybe don't take this shot on, but you're only sitting 1 against, you can afford to play the crowd pleasing shot.
Just high of nose for this.
Yep. Final stone, it's on its way. Sweepers are standing off it.
Doesn't sound overly optimistic. Missed it. Oops.
All that for that. But still, it's a good steal from the Schneider rink, and that swings them. They're still behind in that game, but momentum seems to be with that rink now, so we'll keep an eye on that as it progresses into the next end.
Well, having given that one the big build up.
So we're now on Hammy McMillan's second lead stone here. No, apologies, we're not. So we're on the... That was the Krause's second first stone. So he tried to peel the corner guard there, and he's got it slightly wrong. He's just hit and rolled and left the centre guard. So probably at this stage of the game, Bruce Mount is actually needing centre guards. Early on we talked about how if you had Hammer you didn't want guards out front, especially centre guards, but when you get 4 behind, you really want as many stones in play as possible, so they'll be happy to see that centre guard there now.
Yeah, they won't care where the guards are, do they? They just want a guard there.
Yeah, you need something to work with. So here we go, they're calling to come right round it. Every shot now at this stage is a must make, isn't it, David?
Yeah,
want to get back in this game.
Realistically, they certainly need a 2, but ideally they're looking for a 3 here, really, aren't they?
Yeah, I think a 3's a must, David. To steal a 2 is so hard at this level. Going into the last end, 2 down.
Yeah, essentially they need 3 misses on a guard to get the steal of a 2. So.
Well, I don't think that's what was called, David. We've got another guard out there now, so it's no disaster, but They're all staggered, but we're really starting to need to make these shots, as we said.
Do you hit the guards here, or do you hit the red that's in the house? Or do you just go top 4?
Exactly. There's almost so many guards now, it's getting too late to clear the guards, but
there's no nice angles there, really, is there?
No. But out it goes. Prove us wrong.
I quite like his call of top 4, actually. You get buried top 4, it's going to be very difficult to score a 2, never mind a 3.
Yeah. I think you can get all 3 stones moving here, David. He looked at the angles, I think he's wanting to try. I think he'll be happy with a double peel, but there's a chance he can move that top one
slightly thicker than half stone.
Yeah.
2/3, something like that, and you might get a few moving here. It's one of these you just don't want your second to overthrow this, and
yeah.
The hand would indicate he's overthrown it.
I
think he's fresh, is he? No, he has just.
Oh, he gets away with that there, David. Did not want to leave a guard on the other side over that red, but it's just rolled out of play,
so easy just to overthrow them shots.
Now let's see if Bobby Lammy can make the correction here and get one wrapped right round top 4.
Key thing is that long guard's gone though, isn't it? The other 2 guards are sitting not too bad for if it does come in behind, we'll see them play a run back.
Yeah.
Clearance on them.
There's slight stagger on them though, so you will leave the one in the house, but like you say, the double peel on that does look reasonably easy from up here. As do most shots from up here.
It's dead easy from up here, isn't it? 100%
but
most
this
games.
is drawn as he passed. Oh, it's a great
right.
scrub. Oh, it's a great scrub. It's coming that back one though. It's back tee. I don't think it really matters it's back tee, to be honest. I think we'll go with them see after. Well, I was going to say I thought we'd see them go after the guards, but he fancies taking this one in the house. Problem with that is you just asked the Bruce Mountring to sink a better one round, David, and I fancy them Grant to be able to make that draw.
You do, but at the same time they could be lying 2 reds against here, so there is a chance to get rid of both reds. So
yeah, so there we see it. They're playing their double here.
and there we go.
He's executed it perfectly.
Yeah, great shot. And as you say, they might get a good one round here, but then that gives you a chance to lift the guards off. The most you're losing is a 2 at that stage.
Yeah, that was a great call and a great shot there played.
You know when the opposition are lifting that kind of shot, your chances in the game are starting to slip away.
Yeah, that's right, and there just has been one too many slack shots for me off the Bruce Mount team, David, and they're just not applying the pressure, and if you don't apply the pressure, you don't get the mistakes out of your opposition.
No, it's just that last little 2 or 3%, isn't it? And
yeah, it's not big misses, but it's enough just to let them off the hook.
This has got to be round.
Yeah, there we see another mistake.
It'll be interesting to see whether they go for the guards or just take the. I think you just keep taking the available shots, don't you? Just a nose hit.
There's only 3 milestones to come now, so even though it says 4 on the graphics.
It's just sloppy workmanship, this, isn't it?
So where do you want the shooter here, David? Do you want to roll in behind or out?
I think a nose hit, and then if Bruce
Bruce
draws round,
side,
and if he draws round the other way, he's then got a straight back raise on the one on his shooter. It's not bad either, to be fair.
Yeah, he's rolled out, so this is the 3rd time. This is the 4th time now I think they've tried to draw round this. It is, isn't it? Bobby tried twice and Grant had a go, so here's Grant's 2nd time. Can they get a good one wrapped round here? Top 4.
I think they've actually called back 4, back 8.
Okay, so just trying to get as much separation as possible.
Separation and probably to try and tempt the Christ rink to follow it as well, would be my guess. I don't think they will. I think they'll just splatter the guards. This looks a better one.
Yeah, so they've left a tempter, like you say, David, to chase after that.
I think you run the guards this time. It's a bit of an automatic 2, but 2 and you're 2 up down the last width.
Yeah.
I think you just take.
Could also stuff a guard though and lose 3.
Yeah, you could, to be fair, and if you half this out, that's the other way of making sure it's just a 2.
So it's making them think, like you say, it was quite a clever move there, putting it back 4, wasn't it? If Bruce had just drawn top 4, it made the shot choice very easy for Christ, but this is making them think, putting a wee bit of doubt in their minds. That's what you really have to do.
It's just, as you say before, it's putting the pressure on a little bit, isn't it? And just not giving them the simple shot. But still fully expect them to make it, but they're only going to see quarter stone.
Yeah, and they haven't played down this side this end, so do you think they'll read the ice correct?
It seems to be a case when it gets closer to the centre it cuts a bit more as well, so the professional side to miss this on is obviously hitting the guard.
Yeah.
A little bit surprised they're maybe not playing a full hit weight at this.
Yeah, just take edge of the stone and throw peel weight at it.
Yeah, and if you hit the guards, you've got, even hitting the top guard, you've got a chance of bouncing back in off the winger as well, so sweeper straight on
Here
it.
we go. Stone's on its way, and like you say, they're working it hard. Are they on the guard, David? Oh, they're sweeping it hard, but they're by. No, they're not.
They've just hanked.
So there we go, David, like you say. They set that trap and the Christ Rinko fell straight into it.
I think we'll see them go top 4 this time. Show a quarter stone. Still really hard to get a 3 out of this, but they've got a chance of doing it now.
Yeah, what one do you go round here, David?
I think you go round the centre guard on a right-handed player's inter, but
He says as Grant indicates. They call round the cut. No.
Remind me to thank Grant for that later.
No, he was just toying with you, David. So like you say, coming round that centre one, you want to try and leave these stones in line, don't you? But you do give the Christ Rink will run that single blue one in now. There's not a staggered guard there, so. Yes, I'm looking down at the other semi-final, David, and there's the Schneider are sitting shot. Remember, they're 1 down without hammer, but the 8 foot's still open, so it's quite an open end there. The Schneider lie shot at the back of the house, but there's 2 blues also, 2 blues of Hess also sitting on the edge of the house, so we'll maybe cut over to that when this end concludes. Well, there's been a change of plan. They're looking at coming round the corner guard. I kind of feel they have to, David, because you make the run back easier if you make the target bigger by coming round the centre.
I was going to say, I actually prefer the hit and roll if they're coming off that side, so yeah, that might be what they're doing now.
They're playing the hit and roll, you think, here, David?
Unless they just move the brush so it's visible, but I suppose the other danger of coming round the right hand side as we look at it there is you leave the double and
yeah, the
game over.
Game's effectively over. So it's on its way. They're brushing it. We'll try and get players' mics for next year so we can hear the thought process out of all these shots.
Definitely.
Might make us look a bit less stupid. They're playing the straight draw and
it's just not swinging.
No, they're not getting the curl at all. So
we've got a little bit of finish at the end, but
yeah, I fully expect them to Christ Rink to be able to see enough of that to remove it.
I'm surprised they're going for this one.
So am I. Well, they can surely see more of that last stone that was played, and if you're high, you've got the chance to double off that last one.
Slash double, yeah.
But however, they feel they've just played down this line, so they know the line, and they'll play it again. Never even took much time over this shot, David. They'd obviously decided before Bruce played his stone there that this was a shot they were going to play, so they've stuck with it. Of course, if they make this and get to the nose, Bruce has got to move it, because it will be line shot, so I'm not saying it's wrong. If the shot's made, it's a good shot. Well, they're sweeping it for the curl, I think. Oh, this is high.
Fresh, this.
Well, there you go.
Oh, wow.
Well, it was a risky shot going for that one in the centre, and there's a 3 there, and that's very handy for Bruce at this stage of the game.
Yeah, he certainly wouldn't have. I mean, 2 freshies, or two complete failures anyway for the Christ rink. So, and momentum-wise, that's really going to change the.
Oh, it's huge, David.
The path of the game. That's.
Anyway, Bruce has still got to make this draw. I fully expect him to make it, but Christ rink are still 1 up with Hammer going in the last, so I'm sure they would have took that before the game, but they're certainly going to be going into the switch over, going to be a wee bit more concerned than they were 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mood changer, that one. Got to make this though first.
Yeah, sweepers look happy with it. Well, they're starting to work it hard now.
There's a slight worry over line,
yeah,
but
they're fine.
They've got the red to come to. I'm
really
happy with it.
Out of nowhere, that is a score of 3, David. And that's a shock to the system for the Christ boys.
Bit of pressure.
Yep, if we could switch over to Ring D now, David, Mr. Technical, here we can see.
Quite a demanding co-commentator. So who's playing which colours again here, David?
So I'm just trying to figure it out, but the Schneider rink's playing red. The red stones. So I'm just trying to figure out how many rocks we've got to come here, but we're definitely on skip stones.
Am I right in saying it's 5-4? Is that?
It's 6-5, I think, David.
6-5. Hess is 1 up though. Is that the?
Yeah, Hess is 1 up with Hammer. So
we'll go with that.
We're standing in front of the scoreboard very annoyingly. So
give me a minute. I'll see if we can get somebody onto that.
So I think we're seeing the Schneider rink. It's skip stones in the Schneider rink, I think, and they're having a discussion there whether to play the double off the blues and they would lie 2, or whether to come round that guard. So they've decided to come round the guard, which does leave the 2 blues in the house, which are slightly worrying, but they're deciding they're needing to chase this game a wee bit, so they're coming round the guard. Yeah, because I can see the scoreboard now, David, so you were correct the first time, so it's 5-4 to the Hess rink. So that's a good draw there by the Schneider rink, isn't it? They've came round there dead buried, so Hess has got no hesitation coming out to the guard. So the stone's on its way, so we're just having a debate here. We're not sure if this is Skip's last stone or not. I'm going for the run back.
Close.
He's just missed it. He's picked the back one.
So there must be more stones to come. So 2 stones left.
Yep. This is definitely Schneider's Skip last stone then.
And I think you do have to gamble here and get right down on top of that
definitely.
red. Do you
You've
not?
got a great chance to steal.
Don't like that call at all. I think you come round the right hand side. I suppose you've got to guard against the draw a little bit, but I think you have to gamble that they don't hit the button.
You can't ever leave them a double anyway, can you? It's game over. You just have to come down and freeze, leave them the draw, and like you say, hope they miss it. When it gets to this stage of the game, you're really hoping for an opposition miss. You can't guard against every shot, can you?
No, exactly. A steal of a 2 here just puts them right back in the game.
Oh, if you can ever draw round here and freeze right on top of that red, David, it's a possibility. They've got to draw the 1 foot, or like you say, you've stole 2.
Or they play the run back again and try and lift everything for a 3.
Yeah.
But as a percentage shot, not what you really want to be playing in the 7th end.
Yeah, you really hope your Skip could draw the 1 foot at this stage of the game and at this stage of the competition. Fraser Hare pulled a draw like that out of the bag for us on Friday against the Grant Bars team.
So big stone in this game. The end in our featured game is building up quite nicely as well. So we'll flick back across that shortly.
Yeah, apologies for any Bruce Mount fans who are missing their game, but we'll be cutting back over as soon. We'll just watch the last.
To be fair, it's entirely Grant's fault. Grant said to me this morning, "Do you ever think of covering more than 1 game?" So first and foremost, he's obviously never watched this very often, and secondly, yes, we do. So,
is that Grant volunteering for commentary at the next competition?
That's what I took it as anyway. So
that's a slight mistake there, David. They could have been, but they still lie too, so they'll be reasonably happy. But they would have preferred that on top of that. They really preferred to come on the face of that.
Yeah, it just made the margin for error slightly bigger for the Hess rink.
So here we go. If they hit the 4 foot, they concede the 1, but they need to get the full 1 foot for their shot.
I think they'd prefer to be 2 up than Peel's with, would they?
Yeah, like you say, you concede your 1, you went the last end, Peels with hammer. If you score your 1, you're 2 up without hammer. No, I've got that wrong, have I?
No, you're right, you're right.
I'm getting confused here. It's too early on a Sunday morning. So.
Splitting across games doesn't help, does it? But
I think it's about momentum swing as well. If you give a steal up here, David, it's not great really, is it? 2 steals in a row, so you want to score here.
Sweeper's happy with it. They're keeping moving it, but I would maybe be getting off that entirely.
Yeah, they brushed it early on and they've judged it perfectly. So there we go. That's a good comeback there from Schneider. I was almost writing them off after 4 ends, and there we see them dragged it back to Peels now, going up the last. And really, that Hess Wrinkle was starting to wonder what's happened from going 4-1 up.
I think that's 6-4 actually, is it not? Or if we just totally confused.
My apologies, yes. I'll just shut up. Yeah, I'm getting really confused here, so my apologies. Yeah, I made that draw, so they're 2 up now without hammer.
I believe the curling zone page has gone down, which is why we're not getting all the updates, but I think we're that is the state of play. Krause is definitely one up with, isn't he?
Yeah, Krause is one up with, and Hess is 2 up without. That's definite.
I'm glad we got that sorted. Slick as always. So, Mount Rink, yeah, they've got something going on this end. They've got one on the 4-foot there. It's just kind of hidden at the moment. And they've got a guard that's blocking the right hand side of the rink. And they won't really care at all about these 2 blues on the edge of the 8-foot. It's all about the 4-foot in this end. Close to the double. Played it well. Really not taking much ice for a guard, are they?
No. What you say, David, Bruce Mount Rink just ignoring these 2 blues on the outside. They're needing to protect their shot in the middle, but it might come in handy to the Krause rink at the end. Always a good saver knowing you've got them 2 shots lying there.
I think this is Grant Hardy's first stone. It's certainly Grant that's playing this one.
So it's quite long, so you could potentially come round and chip the one off the button if you wanted, but he's deciding to go after the guard again.
This is where if he'd kept it to 2 in the last end, it's an easy decision just to take the guard off.
Yeah.
Just having that 1-shot lead just makes it a little bit more tricky. I think taking the guard off is still the right shot.
Yeah, I think you have to. And then we'll just see that guard go back up on.
Apologies, we were a shot behind.
Yeah, so we'll skip stones here. So there was a good chance here for a steal, isn't there, David? You've really got what you want as a skip. Looking for a steal, you've got your shot in the house and a chance to guard it, so you can ask for no more, really.
You see they're just looking for it to overswing a little bit.
Why do you want that, David? Just to stop the angles for the run back, really, isn't it?
I think so, yeah, just to...
The amount of ice they're taking, they obviously think it's quite straight down this side as well, so they're not worried about showing them an inch of the shot stone.
Because I think any kind of run back, as long as this covers slightly to the right hand, and it is only slightly, any kind of run back, the guard's going to end up in the middle of them 2 blues as catchers. So maybe talking half an inch to an inch of overswing. We're not talking a lot anyway.
Yeah, but it's margins like that at this level, isn't it, David, that make the difference.
Looks pretty good. Just needs to swing a fraction. Yeah, he's good. That's good. He's certainly asking the question. It's a safe peel. So we'll just see Bruce replace this, I would imagine. He's thinking about the freeze though.
Yeah, I think just put it back, David, and
yeah, I think so.
Set your opposition. There you go. If you want to win the game, we draw the lid.
Yeah, it's one of these, you can't cover everything with this.
Yeah. However, some discussion about the shot to play. Good to check all the options, make sure everyone in the team's happy with the shot, and make sure they all know where they want the stone to be. It's as much down to the sweepers, isn't it, really, to get the stone in the correct place as the thrower.
Yeah, exactly. Very much on the sweepers. Always is though, isn't it? It's never the skips or the vice's fault. It's always the front end. They're just exactly the same place.
Yeah, they should know the ice and the wait for this shot now, David.
I think they'll want to completely cover the red this time. They won't want any edge or.
Yeah. Yeah, dead in line, isn't it, David? With probably halfway again.
Yeah, I think so. Halfway to.
You don't want to be any tighter and just tempt them into a run back, do you?
Certainly not any tighter than halfway. Yeah, it's good.
I think it's good. It's just over curling a hair, but
No, it has.
how much of that can he see? Just has to pick it out, and that's where these two blues come into play,
Could you
David.
come off the blue.
Well, there you go. They're looking at it.
It's a no-risk shot.
Yeah, half stone makes it, doesn't it, David?
I think that's more makeable than the draw is, quite honestly. These guys have been hitting pretty well.
Yeah, it's a tough draw. So whatever you come down to and feel happy with at the end of the day, David, but shot's definitely there. It's there for the win. However, they're getting the question asked of them, so can they make it? Sure, after the sixth end, if you told Bruce he'd be making them play this shot for the win, you'd be quite surprised. But pressure's on now for them. It's on its way, so we'll find out. The sweepers are standing right off it.
There was a big woe there.
They could never do it off the outside, could they, and spring that across? Well, there you go. They almost got lucky, but
They almost did it.
that's a steal. So there we go, an extra end. From 6-2 down, Bruce Mount takes the rink into an extra end of Kraus.
We'll try and confuse ourselves again.
Yeah, I'll just embarrass myself a wee bit more in this other game, so
Hess is winning by 2 as
I've
of
got the wrong score up just to confuse things. So that ignore the graphics at the top.
Well,
Hess playing blue is 2 up without hammer.
and I'll just correct the hammer.
It's a Schneider stone on its way. I think they're trying to draw around these 2 staggered blues at the top of the house here, David, but they're a good bit short. And they're over curling, so they've just really came into the back of them blues, which isn't a lot of use.
No, it's a good chance to clear everything out here now, isn't it?
Yeah, they want to pick that one, but they won't mind if they take some of their own stones either, will they? They don't really want them stones, especially the way they're staggered. I'm hoping to get a few stones moving here. Just throw a bit of heat at it. Well, he just picks the one off the top, so does leave the 2 blues there. Well, maybe they called the freeze with the first one because they're looking at the freeze here. There is a draw right round them blues, David, but maybe they don't fancy that. You probably don't be shot, but you don't have to be shot just now. There's still 3 stones to come.
No, it's just about getting that second, almost your second shot in here just now, isn't it?
Yeah, this is of course the 8th end, even though it says 7th on the graphics. So you have to score your 2 here. Even if you're back 12 round them blues, I would suggest that's easier than the freeze. It's hard to make this freeze perfect, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not a... You almost want to come off the left-hand side one and freeze back to the middle.
By doing that, David, you take the stagger off them as well, and it means you can't come round them with your skip stones.
Yeah, true. So I'm a bit surprised they're not coming round. There's a good chance to come round something that...
Yeah, I think this is a mistake, but... They're over curling as well, so I don't think they're going to be frozen on it. So they're reasonably happy with it. They do leave a pocket that they could perhaps freeze in the next time, so... Yeah, I think if I'm the hair shrink, I'm trying to shift the red and pick a blue on the way past.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel that was an opportunity missed there by the Schneider rink. If they could just ever came round everything there, forced the Hess rink to come after that.
Yep, I think you called that one right. I think that's definitely an opportunity missed there. They've played that well.
They have. They've left two blues that are staggered again. So
yeah.
You have to come round this time, surely. But again, they're looking to make a play on the top ones.
I assume there's just no swing on the ice.
Well, they obviously think there's not enough curl to get round, because if there was enough curl to get round, surely that's the shot you play.
Even if you have to come round to back 4, back 8.
Oh yeah, even back 12, David, I don't mind.
Yeah, just get something in there.
We're not taking a lot of ice here, so obviously there's not much curl in here. It's quite surprising, because we have seen a lot of curl in the sheets of ice this weekend. We're just a little bit straighter today.
I think the weather outside has changed quite considerably this morning. It's that dampness is set in again. It does have an effect here at Dumfries, unfortunately.
Yeah, so Skip's first stone's on its way, so...
This has got a bit of weight.
I'm not sure what the call was there, David.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't that, though.
So, there you have it, an open hit for the win, I believe.
It will be, yep. Peel it out and into the final. Well, there's a few stones kicking about in our featured game when we cross back across that as well. Guards and shots back tee, so...
I'm looking down here, David, and I said it was an open hit for the win, but I'm afraid there's still 2 skip stones to come, so... This is just the skip's first stone. It's very confusing because it's entered under the Schneider rig name, but the Schneider himself is playing third stone, so that's what's confused me here. I'm very easily confused this morning, so this game's not quite over yet here. We've got 2 Schneider stones still to come.
I think it's a fit.
So they're deciding where to put it now, David. I think they're... What are they talking about, coming round that blue stone?
It's really the only shot they've got left. It's
Yeah.
either come round it or freeze it, isn't it? But
Talked about coming round them corners, but they're really... Well, A, it's so difficult to come round them because they're so near the edge of the sheet of ice, and plus if you do that, I kind of feel that the Hess rink just fling another blue in the other side where there's no double and you can't make your 2 then, so...
It's one of them, you think you've got round the corner, you've played a good shot, and then realise you've not left yourself anything with the last one.
Yeah. So hopefully they'll get on with this shot swiftly. So there's our feature game up here in the corner. Oh yeah, this surely didn't call the freeze there, did they? But they've played it pretty well, so maybe they did call that shot. I kind of feel the come round would have been easier, but like we were saying earlier, the stones are so lively. Even if you're right on the face of that stone, you could probably get enough action to get them out, and they're just really half checked in it. So I fully expect to see this stone of Schneider's depart out the left hand side here in a minute.
Yeah, and even if they don't, it's really the backing they want to get rid of as well, isn't it? So even if they knows this, getting rid of the backing to make sure they can hit the red out with their last shot is.
Yeah, of course, this is Hess's last shot here, David. So.
Ah, yes, they don't have hammer, do they?
No.
So probably want to move this red.
Yeah. Don't think they're worried about where the shooter finishes. Here we go, last stone in the last end. Can Hess get enough movement to get this red stone out of here? Find out in a minute. There's a lot of on-offing with the sweepers, so I think they fancy it.
Looks good.
There you have it, we've got a first finalist. It's the rink of Hess.
So we've got one Swiss team into the final. And we'll flick back across to our featured game. Crouch Rink in a bit of trouble again.
Yeah, back to here, we're joining it, and there's a good bit of set-up play here from Bruce Mount Rink, obviously. So they've got one line back of the forefoot and a guard there as well, so I'm sure the Crouch Rink are just trying to remove this guard here. Which they do successfully.
I thought they were on the nose of that for a second. I would say the Crouch Rink have had at least 3 chances to win this game in terms of stopping Mount scoring a 3.
Yeah, they're just struggling to get across the finish line, David, aren't they? Really, they'll be starting to doubt themselves a wee bit in their mind as well. They'll be starting to wonder how they've got in this position in the first place. I'm starting to wonder myself.
Yeah, we shouldn't have gone this far in this game, should we? I think we're down to skip stones by the look of it. So I presume just a guard.
Yeah, where do you want this one, David? Just on the centre line, or do you want to guard the one in the house? I don't think it really matters. They're peeling it wherever it is.
Either or, isn't it? Yep.
It's just a case of get a guard up there, they'll peel it, and then you've got to decide where you want to put your last one. I would probably suggest top 4. Make them play the double for the win.
Yeah, top 4 or even just into the 8 foot. But yeah, leave them the double for the win, certainly.
You want to make them play the double instead of the draw. The draw looks quite easy for them.
And they've missed a few hits.
Do you really get this guard to be near the centre? Well, you almost have to go after the one in the house now, do you? Well, they're calling the draw.
Yeah, I don't think the angle's really very nice to get that one in the centre out of, in the 4 foot out of there.
Yeah, really could have done with that guard on the centre line, couldn't they, David?
I just wonder if it would have actually changed the Crouch shot at all. He was fairly quick to go to the 4 foot.
I think they decided they were going to come round first and put one in. That's a brave call, and I'm not saying it's the wrong call. If they get one in here, Bruce Mount has got to deal with it.
The worst place he could be is just back of the tee line, though.
Yeah, that's right. Leave yourself with no shot.
Yeah, he's got
at least if you peel the guard, you do have a shot with your last one, but
yeah, he's got to be 4 foot, and he's got to be top of the tee line. He'll know that, though. Stones away.
Sweepers are on it anyway. They don't want to be short here, do they? And they're working it hard. The advice is coming out to help, and you always get a bit worried when that happens.
If they can drag it, it's good, but they're nowhere near, are they? And that's going to make it a lot easier for Bruce Mount, because he's going to come round that.
Oh, now he's got a staggered guard. If he can just come right round in. That was the danger with playing that shot there, David, wasn't it? I'm not saying it was the wrong shot, it was just the execution that was really wrong. You couldn't be light, but you also couldn't be heavy, like you say, and leave them with something to freeze against, but there you have it.
I think they've got to come round this.
Yeah. I think they're just deciding where they want to leave it. Do you want to leave them a draw, or do you want to leave them a hit?
I think you can just about take both out of the equation if you show them half stone. And just bite the top of the 1 foot circle, just where Bruce Brush is there.
Yep.
They will need to be at least half a stone hidden though, otherwise it'll leave a kind of slash double again.
Yeah.
But
I feel he would probably take that shot on if you left it for them.
On the flip side, I think their confidence must have taken a beating over the last couple of ends. So.
Yeah, I think having seen the skip's first stone, you probably want to leave him a draw rather than a hit, don't you? I mean, he's came up short of the house there with his last draw, so he's got to be doubting in his mind now what the speed of the ice is. You don't mind coming in there and just leaving him the pin to cover for the game.
Yeah, exactly. You make Mount favourite now?
Really say I have to after that last stone. Really, couldn't have put it in a better bit for Bruce Mount, really, could you?
No.
It would be good to see this Scottish rink through to the final. It would be good for the local crowd as well, obviously, with Grant being a local boy. Hopefully get a lot of people along here, but anyway, this game's still got to be finished off. Got to execute this shot, David.
Yeah, I don't want to leave a double. I don't think 8 foot's a total disaster here, but it just gives them
just
more.
Makes the scoring area slightly bigger, doesn't it, David?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, the stone's on its way, so it's Bruce's last stone. Will it be his last stone in the competition or not? We'll find out.
Maybe a bit tight for line.
They're dragging it a long way. Are they by?
I think it's all over the guard.
Oh, it's just a slip chance there. It has tightened the draw up for the Crowse rink, but it's a missed opportunity there, really, isn't it, David? This shot's a lot easier than it should be now for the Crowse rink.
Yeah, maybe just a wee touch down in weight. Interestingly, both skips down a touch in weight there.
Yeah, I think the ice is maybe starting to go off a wee bit here, maybe getting a wee bit fudgy, this.
Yeah, possibly.
This is the extra end, of course, and they're strong sweepers, these boys, so they'll have took that pebble off over the 8 ends. So.
Of course, that will be playing in the mount of Krause as he sits in the hack.
That's right, you don't want to overcorrect, do you? And you want to give your sweeper something to do, so.
Nothing worse than taking the hack out with a draw at the button.
He has to be reasonably close to this guard, because he's got to be half in the 4 foot, I would suggest, by the look of that back red one.
I think the other problem if the ice is a little bit fresher out here as well, it may just run on and run straight.
So it's on its way. I think you've called it, David. It's hanging straight. And there we go. It's heavy. So there we have our finalist, Bruce Mowat, and that's a great result here for the Dumfries. And that's some comeback, David, isn't it?
5 shots in the last 3 ends to win the game.
Yeah,
Great
it's
comeback.
pretty incredible. So.
I think you called it, don't write them off. Yeah. Don't think we believed it, but that's what we said.
It's never over till it's over. So that's it over now.
So the final is at 12, I think, somewhere in around that time scale anyway. We'll go live. If you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you'll get an email when we go live anyway. So as the teams take the stones back down to the other end, we'll leave it there with this one. Thank you for that, David.
Thank you, David.
And we'll see you for the final.